Hi, my name is Chantal Comeau. I'm an English teacher at École Mathieu, and today's pedagogical capsule is literary genre. It's a literary element that we use to determine whether or not a book is true or not. Because I get that question often. Different people have different interests, and one of the things that we are going to ask you to do is to be able to determine if it's true or not. So you will have two options. The two options that we usually refer to are fiction and nonfiction. Fiction means it's fake. It's made up. The author created this in his or her own mind. Nonfiction, however, is not fake. It is absolutely true. Now you'll notice, if this helps you remember, that the letters that start the same words are paired together. So F for fiction, F for fake, NF and F. So if that helps you remember which one's which, excellent. Pattern as well, you will be answering the same pattern for this question as all the rest of them for all of your classes. You simply state or present your idea or your opinion, in this case one or the other. You explain in your own words for the best that you can at your level, and you give proof. So if you're going to say something is nonfiction and you're going to say something is true, you need absolute undeniable truthful proof that this can be proven. So we'll start with fiction. Fiction means that it's made up, as we just covered. Sometimes you'll have information immediately that shows you or that explains to you that it is made up. For example, the first sentence of the line says, Marvin, with green glowing skin, as is his alien spaceship, and his 3 arms are happily waving yellow sunglasses. Right away we know that it is science fiction and it is made up. Sometimes there will be pictures or drawings that you can immediately see on the cover that it is a particular kind of fiction. For example, science fiction would have the spaceship, fantasy fiction would have something like this, so that's your warlocks, your dragons, etc. So you're probably familiar with the Percy Jackson series. So here we see the main characters flying on a dragon. This would be considered fantasy fiction. We're not asking you to categorize like that. Saying that it is fiction is enough in grade 9 and 10, and it's a great start. Usually when we refer to something that is fake in this genre, we use the words novel or short story. 98% of the time this is accurate, and you can almost make an immediate assumption that it is made up. The words that we use for nonfiction, things that are true, are these 3 words here: book, text, work, or piece. So that is also another hint for the other genre, which we're going to next. So if you're going to say something is nonfiction, you have to give a proof that it is true. There can be no doubt whatsoever. This is where you have to take a very scientific approach. You have to go CSI, which means you need undeniable proof. Usually one or more of the following will appear in the work if it is not fake. So, pictures of the actual event at the time that it happened with identification under the photo. Just simply seeing a picture of something is not enough. There has to be identification underneath. Here's an example of a nonfiction book. Maybe you're familiar with Cesar Millan. They call him the dog whisperer. So usually with nonfiction books per se, there will be pictures. So this one here, underneath the photo, you have an identification, and it says that it is a legitimate picture. Something else, sometimes there will be information that indicates that it is true, based on true facts. Sometimes it will say based on a true story under the title. You can verify the spine of the book, which is the finer edge here, and it will say sometimes biography. On the back is also another place where you can find something, an interview with. Sometimes as well, it will be on the back page or the front page, and you can verify in those spots to see if it is nonfiction. Sometimes it will say photocopy from a particular newspaper. It'll say biography, autobiography, or the title of the newspaper, the name of the newspaper will be identified, such as the Globe and Mail, for example. This is a warning. It's a common mistake that I often see. I'll have students tell me, well, it feels real, it seems real, and it could happen, so I'm going to write nonfiction. This is called verisimilitude. It's another literary element that we study at a different level, not for grade 9 and grade 10. You need absolute proof if you're going to say it's real. This is simply out of respect for other people who have lived all sorts of traumatizing situations. If you're familiar with 127 Hours, for example, about the hiker that a boulder rolls on his arm and he must amputate his own arm. People that have suffered intense trauma or situations, out of respect for those people, we can't simply throw around nonfiction very lightly and say that it's true just out of respect for these people. I guess that's the idea behind it. Now we're going to look at a patterned answer. So this is what it would look like if you were to write it out. You would begin by saying the literary of the genre of the story is, and then you would choose. From there, you explain in your own words and give proof like you do in all of your other classes. So you would say something like, the literary genre of the story He Had an Enormous Will to Live is fiction. We know this because there's no proof at the beginning of the text, there are no actual pictures of the actual events, and we have no other indication that these are true events. Proof to show this can be seen on, or is absent, since I checked these places. That would be one common way of answering. So to recap, overall, you're choosing between these two words, fiction and nonfiction, F for fake, NF for not fake. You follow the pattern of present, explain, and give proof, making sure that your proof is undeniable if you choose something that is true. And if you've got no proof at all, by default, you must say that it is made up. Even if it feels real, you need proof. If you don't have any, by default, you must write on the line that it is fiction. This concludes the pedagogical capsule for the literary element, literary genre.